My first tour, Kanye West, in Paris for the first time.
Wow.
Bercy Arena, the big arena, opening up. It's me, Mr. Hudson, Kid Cudi, The Roots. We're all there.
Huge. Damn.
Huge. Mind you, first little ghetto artist, no rig. There's no playback rig.
Of course.
For any of you musicians who know what it is. I'm running tracks off of an iPod.
Oh, my
Stop it.
Oh, yeah, iPod. Yeah. I have a band.
Yeah.
I have like a stripped down band, like 2-piece band. But the musicians that can't be there, all those things are being run off of an iPod. And the bass player put the iPod on top of like the monitor, and the bass hit. And it knocked the sound out in the middle of the show. And I'm just like, oh, this is how we're gonna start this. Great.
Jay Sean's Basement Banter.
Guys, I gotta be honest. I thought like the only pop star who was ever gonna be on this was actually me. I did. But then like like the guest today, she's not only like, I consider her a friend, but she is so decorated in terms of awards.
True.
So humble as an artist. And I'm so privileged to call her a friend. We have the one and only, and it's not right to call her a pop star. More like a diva. Are we like a diva? Are we like a soul diva? What are we, like a...
I don't know. Diva comes with such a negative connotation.
Like I'll own it. Good start, Jay.
I'll own it.
Yeah.
Good start. But you know what I'm saying?
I was hoping for a hard cut.
If nobody has ever seen Melanie Fiona sing, listen to me. Wow. Like after she sings, like I stop recording for a little while. I don't go on the road for a little bit. Do you know what I mean? We have, guys, Melanie Fiona.
Hello.
What's up, Mel?
Hey.
How we doing?
I'm great.
Yeah,
Life
thank
is
you for
good.
coming.
My pleasure.
And you know what's so funny? Because I've known you for how many years now? I think the first time we met, wasn't it? We're at my down?
Yeah, it's like over 10 years now.
Right.
Yeah.
Where did you meet?
Wasn't it the first time was at when...
Celebration, you were getting your plaque in New York. I have a picture
We have
of
a
it.
picture.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
We have a picture. This is what
To
we
the
have Todd
Googler.
for. Yeah, we have
go.
Todd here. Look, it's probably the first one that comes up.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wait,
Right.
that's a new one.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, there it is.
second
White
one.
Yeah, second
Second one.
photo.
Yeah.
Wow. Boom, there you go.
us.
Look at that.
That's crazy. I didn't realize you knew each other all the way back then as well.
Yeah, we did.
That's
Yes.
amazing. Sweet.
And I remember...
We were on the same label.
Wow.
So, yeah, we were on the same label. That's right. Talk about that.
That's how I ended up there. Universal. Yeah, we were on the same label. And I remember they were like, hey, Jay Sean, he's getting his plaque tonight. It's cash money. Why don't you go by? And I went by, and there we are, being happy.
That was
stage.
a natural moment.
Shout out to Johnny
like,
Nunez for always capturing the moments.
Yeah. That's not one of those like that we do, the stage photography shoots that we do. We're like, and now pretend to laugh or something. We're having a great time and we're friends.
You mean you're actually funny?
But then we
friends?
actually
That's
became
amazing.
friends. Like,
Yeah, we did become friends. But that's the nice thing, right? Like we've got someone like Emmy Award winner, right?
Oh, the pat.
No. But I'm saying this is crazy because our circle. I always say, Mel, like, what's so cool about? Do you mind me calling you Mel? I always kind of do it.
Call me
Like I
Mel.
just do it. It's such a British thing. We are so lazy. We abbreviate everyone's name to one syllable.
yeah, it's great.
Ads.
Yeah, or Woody. Yeah,
That's too.
I know.
But anyway,
Toddy.
Toddy boy. All right, just off the top.
All right, fine.
But what I've always said is, within our circle, we have everything and everyone we need to make the music and then shoot the video, edit the video, do the press photos. It's all in-house. Like my brother does the photography.
Yeah.
He can shoot the videos. He edits. We produce. We write. We do everything, and we can get it out there. And we're all such a talented bunch of people. But what I love is that we're actually friends, and we hardly talk about our work with each other.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Really don't. I feel like it's all integrated, and I feel like that's actually the best way to be. When your home team is your actual team, for every capacity, it's just like it's the recipe for success. It's what most artists are doing now, like with or without a label. So I think if you're blessed enough to develop a team like that, it's a win.
Can you please tell us, without this sounding like an interview, because it's so not an interview.
It's not an interview.
I hate it. This is the reason why I wanted to do this podcast is because you can feel for me on this one, right? Whenever we go into a radio station, it's the same fucking questions.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. So tell us how you got your start.
Yeah.
And what was that like? And no one's asking like the
what
real
was it
story.
like meeting Jay-Z?
Yeah,
and what
yeah,
was
yeah.
it like being on tour with Kanye? And what was it like this? And like,
But meanwhile, what was it like meeting Kanye?
Yeah, well, that's what they should be called.
I have a fucking hilarious Jay-Z
What was
story.
it like?
Yeah.
Not podcast.
Literally. I actually have an amazing Jay-Z story, but I do want to tell that. We haven't told it.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. But yeah,
crazy.
But yeah, no, you're right. It's the uniform, generic questions that we need to push past.
Yeah, and it's always like when you got a single coming out and you're plugging the single.
Yeah.
So what was your inspiration behind the song?
Blah,
and
blah, blah.
blah, 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 bullshit.
Yeah.
I want this to be a platform where we can talk about whatever we want. The kind of shit that you were like, oh, finally I have a chance to talk about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we've got nothing to lose, because at the end of the day, what I noticed, Melanie, is that our life is blatantly out there now on social media. We can act one way, but they might catch us, someone might catch us on an Insta story, go, oh, okay, so that's what you're really like.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think for me too, just so I think also the life of a female pop star is there's all these boundaries and red tape that are surrounding us, you know what I mean? And so there's a certain expectation of a way that you have to be or conduct yourself. Don't say too much, but give enough, and all these things. And I think that when I was coming up, I was so being led by the people around me that I didn't feel like I had the confidence to really show my personality in those ways, because I never thought that people, like, what was it? It wasn't about who I was dating or what I was doing. It wasn't any of these things, these phenomenons. I just wanted to sing. And so I think that, like, the beautiful thing is that now we have these platforms to really just show our personalities. And so when people see me on my social media now, they're just like, yo, you're like funny and like you down, and like I've always known I've been funny and cool. But you know what I mean? People expect you to come in as the sultry R&B singer and sing the love songs and you know, don't act too I'm goofy as hell. So like that's why it's a beautiful time.
On that topic, right? Because you are goofy as hell and you're so fun to hang out with, and we always have a blast when we're out together. Don't you find it strange when there's such a disconnect between what we're saying in our songs and who we actually are? So when you're doing a music video, what are you doing?
People literally think that I am the most like depressed, jaded, in love, brokenhearted woman in life. Like I might be walking around with like, quote unquote, which doesn't play to our stereotype that we're always fighting, angry black girl syndrome. Like, no, like if you meet me, I am upbeat, I am lively, I am positive. But what I do love is vulnerability. And what I do love is love songs that make you feel things, and the Whitney Houstons and the sorrow, like that. I'm a Cancer, I'm emotional. I love, I can pour all my energy into songs. But do I live my life that way? No, absolutely not. God, thank you that I have a great love life.
What do you do about that when you're on stage and like I've seen you on stage and you're just honestly incredible. I'm not just gassing. You are incredible.
Thank you.
You have such a voice. It's like, it's disgusting actually how ridiculously good this girl is.
Thank you.
Really are so talented. So talent is given. That's a given. That's really what you are. But what do you do about those times where you feel like you can't, there's so much more inside you that you want to give and show people, and all they know you for is this? How do you offset that? What do you do for that to get your energy in that right place?
I think, you know, at the beginning, it was get up there, sing the songs, and let people know that you can sing. And now that I'm in a place in my career where I do it because I love it, not because I feel like I have anything to prove. There's a catalog of songs that people know, they come out to hear those songs. I just take the moment to really create an experience that is not just about singing songs. It's about conversation. It's about vulnerability. It's about being funny. It's about calling on the fact that Whitney Houston was singing about being a side chick on Saving All of My Love for You as I cover the record. You know, like it's about showing my personality on stage and allowing people to see that I am a human. And this is what my journey has been, and this is what I do to connect people. And so, you know, now the rules are there are no rules. Everything is what you want it to be. And 100%. So when I get out there and I have the opportunity, I want people to have an experience. It's not, they can just listen to the songs at home.
100%.
But to know who I am as a person,
100%.
To be with me on this journey as being a human being and an artist, to share that I have too been vulnerable. I've faced obstacles. I've had to pick myself back up. I've experienced great success and great loss. These are the moments I get to connect with my audience and say those things.
Do you
and
think
I think that's what makes a difference.
Do you think that, you know, back in the day when it was like, oh, you know, you have to be untouchable to be the big pop star. You know, you can't, there was no way. You can just fucking text Michael Jackson. You had to write to a P.O. box and somebody might read it out to him. You had this fantasy. And now I get people DMing me like, you know what, bro? Fuck you then, yeah? You're not going to reply to me? Cool, fam. It's that accessible. Do you think that putting up this thing of like, we're this, we're that, we live this life, we do this, we go in this, you know, first class here and this, that, and the other. Do you think that makes us more the dream for the audience and they're like, wow, aspiration? Or do you think if we just show our weaknesses publicly, say that, you know what, today I'm a little down.
But also, is it important in terms of like, you know, I think you guys also on a fundamental level, you guys are a fantasy in terms of like, you know, don't use the terminology of the little people, but the regular people. But like, you know, yeah, me. The people that won't ever walk into a nightclub and dry ice will fill across the floor, and a bottle of Armand de Brignac will pop open, and there'll be a beautiful woman. Like, the music comes with the caveat of you want to see those big, wonderful moments, especially in the R&B scene. You know,
but that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm getting at. I think that's what it used to be like.
It's pivotal.
I'm wondering whether do they relate to you more now? If you're like, yes, I am this. I have this wonderful voice. I have these great songs. I have Grammys. I have all of this stuff. But I'm right now, today, I'm not so happy.
Yeah, I mean, I have found a lot of freedom and joy in expressing those moments, in the human moments. And I kind of always have felt like that is who I've always been. But again, when I put out an album 10 years ago, people were like, nobody cares about your personal life. They just want to know that you're a superstar. They want to know that you're fly. For me, the other day, I posted a thing. I woke up with extreme anxiety, posted it on my social media, and the response was overwhelming. Yeah. More so than people seeing me in like my Fendi boots on a picture like two posts before. And I think that what happens is that I think that people can see when you're being genuine. Yep. And I feel like my fans and my followers know that that's actually who I am. Like it's never been about creating this facade.
Yeah, she doesn't have shoes on at the moment.
I have no shoes on. And they're mismatched socks.
And I love that.
They actually don't.
Do you know my socks right now are from Hanes?
Perfect.
By the way,
CVS.
Same, by the way. Beautiful. So mine.
CVS socks.
Completely
beautiful.
Mismatched socks.
Don't give a shit.
No, don't give a shit.
I don't care.
No, but those Nikes.
Mismatched socks.
Yeah, they're pretty hard. They're pretty hard.
But yeah, like I just think that. I think that that's what's happening. I think that with all the exposure, with all the awareness and access, I think that people are really able to decide if they believe you or not.
Yeah, man.
You know,
so
and I think that like it's beautiful. I think the successes that people love to celebrate for me is seeing my family. They love to see my fiance. They love to see my son. They look at that as my level of success. That's what I look at as my level of success.
Yeah, both of you have I mean, obviously in the past 4 or 5 years, you're both young, new parents. Like in terms of, does that come with a shift in terms of like, because again, you go from being this commodity of like, they want to date you, Melanie. They want to date you, Jay.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
by the way.
Go on.
By the way, let us not forget.
Wait, look at this.
Look at that family.
Oh, come on, stop it. Look, honestly, you already know. We'll talk about me and Jared another time. That's like a bromance that. Yeah. And Cam, though, my
Mini
God,
Jared.
He is just adorable.
Mini Jared.
I absolutely love that kid, man.
What do you call him, a man-child? Or?
Yeah, boy child. Boy child. He is man-child because he's like the size of a 6-year-old and he's only 3. But
carry on, Melanie. What were you saying?
But no, I was. Oh God, what was I saying?
Because you were talking about being available and single and all that bullshit.
Of like when you're the artist, when you're the young 25, 30-year-old artist.
Oh, by the way, it's all about girls should want to be like you and men should want to fuck you. Right. That's the tagline of every female artist that gets told.
100%.
And, you know, when I got pregnant, it was heavy anxiety because even though I was in such a settled place in my life, I still had that narrative in the back of my mind, like, oh my God, you're going to be less desirable. Yeah. People are not really going to like, oh, they're going to write you off immediately. Right. And it did happen.
Really?
I saw many relationships that I was in professionally and personally where people were just like, oh, well, that ship has sailed.
Wow.
And it's sad that this is the narrative that still happens for women. It's a little different. It's much different for men on the other side because no one, you know, men, they never change physically. They never change. For me, I just started to own it. And I was just like, well, this is what it is. I'm not going to hide this. And in fact, in the beginning of my pregnancy, I did hide my pregnancy because I wanted to announce it on my own terms and I didn't want people to call me out about it. And if there's one thing I regret, it's that. If I ever had to do it again, I would never. I would just be like, I'm pregnant. This is my life. I'm living it on my own terms. But that narrative was just really etched in my head.
So there was a thing, a little voice in the back of your head rattling around going,
like, this is going to be career suicide for you. Even though I had already done so much.
Yeah.
And I was a grown-ass woman in a meaningful and loving relationship, stable, the best I've ever been.
Exactly. Into all the things people that we want.
And I was still having anxiety about it. And then once I had my son and I started sharing that portion of my life, the response was so genuine and overwhelming again that I was like, oh yeah, just live your life for yourself because nobody else is living this life for you. So what are you going to do, you know? And that has now become a part of my brand. That's become a new transition and pivot of passion for me. Now I speak about wellness. Now I speak about motherhood. Now I speak about music and the intersection of all those things because that's really who I am. Yeah. You know, I'm not just this maiden out here singing songs as a single woman anymore. This is my reality.
Right. 100%. And you're so right what you said, right? Like when I had kids, it's cool, man. I did my thing. I went back on the road.
Yeah.
I didn't change. I didn't suddenly be like, I can't go anywhere now. Doctor said I can't fly.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to go on the road. I'm allowed to jump up around on stage. I'm allowed to do all of that, right? You literally have to take a hiatus. It's like,
oh yeah,
this is
it.
it
Oh, and
now.
then don't forget all the pictures of you being not at your thinnest weight anymore.
That shit is really annoying.
Oh, sorry, I just had a baby 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that reality didn't take my double chin away so fast. Like,
Right.
But again, I remember being at an award show with you, and then there was an edict that came down that, don't sit next to your then...
what?
An instruction.
Look that up, please.
Google that word, please.
He does this.
EDICT.
This is the thing he does.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Comes up with
scholar, yeah?
I use single words.
Just look it up.
That
What is
will
it?
otherwise be a sentence.
EDIT.
Edict. There you go.
Edict. Okay.
Edict.
An official order or proclamation issued by a person in authority.
So that's a completely utilitarian use of that word to say a sentence that I've now spent 30, 40 seconds explaining. It's because
it's one of my favorite
otherwise-
segments of the show, though.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Ba-da-ba.
That shit that Adam said.
That shit Adam said. But
Yeah,
you know,
go on.
I
So there
remember
was an
being
edict.
an award show where you
Yeah.
were told not to sit next to your then fiance or that just girlfriend at that point. When somebody become your wife and your mother. Like, so there is this commodification of your life that you then have to like for a man, difference for a woman being pregnant, going on tour. Like there is a difference, but at the same time, when was the moment of peace where you let that go? Like, this is my wife, this is my kid, and fucking
when
deal
her
with it.
family was probably like, listen, you better fucking say something right now. No, I'm joking, it wasn't that.
No, like the facts.
But you know what though? They understood. But Tara was, and like how you said it, you kind of regret that period where you were like, why did you have to hide your pregnancy? It's the most beautiful thing that could ever happen in your life. You have created life and you're hiding that. It's like even on an energy balance,
on an
it's
energy
off.
level, went against everything that I know to be true and I practice in my life.
Right?
Yeah.
And
And
here's this baby coming into the world and you're like, no, it's not.
allowing fear
Yeah.
Shoot me
to
from the
run my
neck up.
life. Like, what are we doing? Like, what? Why would I don't
Right.
do that in any other area of my life.
So
Why would I
true.
do that when it came? But that narrative is that the boundary, the mystique, it's just.
Yeah.
But you know what, Mel? It's not our fault. Like you said, we were taught this shit. You've been in the game for as long as I have.
Yeah.
From the minute we got our first record deal, right? It's like, that's cool. Oh, I love your music. Yeah, I love the whole thing. Cool, sign on the dotted line. And then, by the way, it's like, you could afford to maybe like shed a few pounds, maybe.
How old are you? Take 3 years off.
Can I tell you some
Oh
funny
yeah, take
shit?
3 years off your age.
Yo,
yeah.
you're
this
always
out.
28.
I have to tell you this real quick. So when I signed to Cash Money, I was already 28 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 2 albums out before. Like I've been in the game for like 6 years by that time.
Right.
So Slim, Slim,
Mm-hmm.
he on the day he's meeting me, he goes, say, bro, how old are you? And I went, I'm 28. He goes, yeah, we gonna say you 19.
Yeah, I put out my first albums when I was 12.
What?
Yeah.
19? Yeah. Let's make it a little bit more believable. Maybe like
23,
27.
24.
I always say,
24. Give me 24.
I always say the industry standard is minus 2 years.
Yeah.
However old you think anyone is out there, by the way, guys, add another 2 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At
At
least.
least.
At least.
And that's some bullshit.
Yeah. It is. I mean, what are we I mean, again, this narrative, this thing that it gets put on us that we have to be a certain way. It's just like, yo, let me tell you about the biggest stars of the world right now that just like came up from being in their basement doing nothing overnight because of YouTube right now. Like, do you think those people have any filter about what it's supposed to be like? No, they just fell into the shit. And the thing is for us is like, we worked hard, we trained, we went to we did artist development, we did all these things, media training, all these things that don't even exist anymore.
No.
There's such an evolution of freedom now, I feel, for
100%.
artists, which I think is beautiful. And I'm happy to still be in the game to be able to also be a part of that narrative.
So
like it's just great.
True.
It's great.
So true. And I couldn't agree more, right? Like we did come from a different school of
Different
artists. 100%, like I
Yeah.
said, right? And to go across all that, literally we saw music change from our first up being on vinyl
CDs.
to now just giving it for
CDs.
free.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To just be like, here you go,
Yeah,
it's
here.
free.
Here.
Right? Don't worry, I spent hundreds of
Come
thousands
see me
of
live.
dollars on
Yeah.
this
Come
product.
see me live. But
Yeah.
But that's also too. That's also the transition, and I kind of like, because music, the streaming of music, the consumption of music has just changed on such a landscape.
Right.
You got to be so good now that people want to come and see you. that's where it's going to be. That's what it is. It's like,
So
you got to
true.
give them stuff. So what is it? So what are you all encompassing now?
Right.
You know, because if they show up and you're trash, you're
So
trash.
true. So true. And there are, you know, on the flip side, there's a lot of artists who have like big hits and then literally have no stage show. Why? Because they have no years of experience. They don't even know how to freaking hold a mic on stage live.
No, absolutely not. And
Right?
think about it. The music industry, as far as like labels or distribution companies that are betting and investing in these things, they're not in it for the benefit of the artist. They're just like, okay, this song is gonna sell 1 million copies because it's a hit. It's a what's the word? It's a cult, not classic, but like, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Phenomenon or
A
just-
phenomenon.
yeah.
Like it's the song, it's the
Right.
trend, whatever it
Right.
is. And they don't care if that artist ever has an album. They're just like, we'll sign you for that one song and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
And we
but-
get what we want.
But
Right.
is there as such then a happy medium between those two thoughts in terms of now, you're right, you've got bedroom superstars that go on to have like great careers, but they don't have the backgrounds that you guys had. You don't have that media training. You don't have that, you know, and as we've said a couple of times before, in terms of when we put you on Twitter, you're like, why do I need to, no, we don't need to see behind the glossy facade. You don't need to hear what I'm having for breakfast. But now people want to know that. So is there a happy medium between, in terms of, you know, you do get those people that become underground famous and then they go on stage and like, oh, I see through this in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, so is there a need now for people like yourself to then start transitioning and going, okay, guys, let's, you know, put an arm around you. Like, you're really good, but you know, we can give you some knowledge here in terms of like, you know.
I don't know. What do you think? I try not to tell anybody what to do. I feel
I
like
tell
everyone's
no
got-
one to do what to do. I don't solicit my advice to anyone unless it's
Right.
asked. And I just feel like everybody's journey is their own journey.
Right.
And I kind of just hold myself to a standard of what I want to do. But I think there is, like, I think that it's just so, the music is just, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like once upon a time,
I think there's too much music.
Yeah, there's way too much music out there.
Personally.
There's way too much music. Like options. It's like, what are we talking about? Like once upon a time, like in the 90s, you could literally name 10 artists and those
Yeah.
were all anybody spoke about.
Yeah.
Now it's like you could name an artist
I know.
and be like, 9 out of 10 people in the room be like, I have no idea
What's
who that
this?
person is.
Son?
Happens all the
A
time.
recent tweet from music blog Pigeon and Plain says artists upload nearly 40,000 songs to Spotify each day.
40,000 songs.
Right.
So 14.6 million songs are uploaded every year.
Wow.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
That's insanity.
It's insanity.
Yeah. I think there was also a stat as well in terms of the amount of information uploaded. Each day we upload the same amount of information that took a century to acquire.
That's insane.
Previously. So, you know, it's one of those ones where like, it's the same way when people say, "Oh, haven't you watched this show yet? Haven't you listened to this album yet?"
It's just
I'm
like, no,
there's
how many,
too much.
how many hours do you have in your day? I don't know. No.
Yeah.
But you know what I will say? This is what I love about the landscape of music now, is that you can find your listening audience. And they can find you, no matter how big or how small.
Very true.
And I always used to, whenever people would ask me the typical question of a interview.
Yeah, please.
So, what advice would you give for
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah,
aspiring
yeah,
singer?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, please don't
Closing,
ask me this
yeah,
question.
closing
I don't know.
question.
I'm still an aspiring singer. Did anybody got fucking advice for me? But no. So the truth is that I always used to say, if you are a singer, sing.
Right.
I don't care where it is. If it's in your shower, if it's at the local bar, if it like, you don't have to limit yourself to say, I have to only be at the level of Beyonce to be acknowledged as a singer, because you could be very happy singing in the subway.
Let's talk about happiness.
You know?
Let's talk about happiness for a minute. The reason I think, like, you know, you touched on something earlier, which you were saying about levels of anxiety and depression and stuff that a lot of artists have. Who was it? Was it somebody recently said, was it Lizzo, I think, said that she couldn't go on tour anymore because she was just too much. There was someone, I can't remember. There was way too much pressure on her. It wasn't Lizzo. It was Summer Walker, I think.
Oh, it's Summer
Cancelled her
Walker, for
tour.
sure. Yeah, it was Summer Walker.
Because she said, listen, I'm sorry. I can't, it's too, she had to cancel her first tour, I think.
Yeah,
Wow.
she bowed out like halfway through.
Too much anxiety.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, there's this.
Yeah, there you go. I got tired. I got sad. It's just
Right.
a lot. Yeah.
And then what happens is you've got people at
29.
home going, I fucking bought tickets.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Yeah. It sounds like an
They
old
say it
British
just like
woman
that,
who's
too.
in
Yeah.
a village, almost a witch. Witch-like, Hansel and Gretel a little bit.
Go, shut up and just sing, right?
Right, yeah.
Shut up and sing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do your job. Yeah.
Well, because there's this like, It's interesting because it is a fine line. It's a fine line to being like, you got to know what you signed up for.
Right.
But then you also are your own person and you have a right to say no at any given moment as a human being in any capacity. But the world of entertainment, there's such a pressure to always show up.
Must go
the
on.
show must go on by hell or high water.
Right.
We don't care if you have a broken leg or laryngitis. Get out there and you better sound like you do on the record.
Right.
Like, Lauryn Hill is such a perfect example for me. She did, off of Miseducation, 5 Grammys, killing it. She goes and does these MTV Unplugged album and she's hoarse and she's and everybody's like, it's trash. She sounds terrible on it. And in the live recording, she's just like, I was up with my kid last night till 4 o'clock in the morning. And if I don't sleep, I get a hoarse voice. This is life.
I love that.
She's just like, reality is what people, she said, fantasy is what people want, but reality is what they need. And so that has always resonated with me because you have the right to say no. And so on that level, if you're not well, how can you give what you don't have?
Yeah.
Right.
And so you do 100% have a right to say, I'm sorry, this can't be. And I remember feeling like that after I toured with Alicia Keys. We were on a world tour. And I remember coming back, I was thin, I was exhausted, and I was highly aggressive. And I couldn't understand what was going on. Like I was edgy. I just didn't know why I felt this way.
How long was that tour?
My God, we toured all of North America and then we went all through Europe. So it was over 2 months.
Wow.
And I just was like, and it was my first world tour. And I was like,
And
okay.
just to qualify for people that don't know, that's gigs probably every other day at least, or 2-3 days?
Yeah, every 2-3 days. Yeah, 2 days at most. Like you're back to back. And
you're singing. You're like fucking.
Oh yeah.
Singing.
I'm not out here bedroom singing. Like I'm singing at the top as loud as I possibly can.
Right.
So I remember coming off the road, and I remember saying to my team, I was just like, guys, I don't feel well. And I knew I had to go to doctors. I went to and that's when I realized that I was suffering from exhaustion. I was suffering from anxiety. And I couldn't understand. That's when I had to, I changed my diet. I went to see a naturopath. He was like, look, if you want to do this for the rest of your life for a long time, you're going to have to make some lifestyle changes because you're not the girl who's going to work 9 to 5. You got to make certain accommodations for your wellness if this is what you want to do. And so that was the first experience where I realized it's just like, nobody's going to pause for you. Everyone is going to be like, keep going. You can keep going. It's fine. You're doing great. We're here for you, until I have a nervous breakdown.
Right.
And I don't understand why I feel outside of myself.
I love talking about the stuff that happens on stage to me and you're like, oh my God, did they notice that? Oh my God, fuck, how am I going to get around this? What have been some of that? Have you ever really messed up on stage? Let's talk about those moments.
Oh my gosh, because I have so many of these moments.
Good, I love these.
This happened to me last weekend.
Brilliant.
Just to let you guys know, okay, 10 years into your career, this shit still happens. Yeah. Okay, so the first moment that happened, and I've always looked at it this way, because you can always look at they're teachable moments, right?
Yeah.
And if you're prepared, what happens if your mic goes out? What happens if shit just gets crazy on stage? What do you do? How do you turn around?
Right.
How do you take the energy and the control back in the room? And so it was on my first tour, Kanye West, in Paris for the first time, Bercy Arena, the big arena, opening up. It's me, Mr. Hudson, Kid Cudi, The Roots. We're all there. Huge. Mind you, first little ghetto artist, no rig. There's no playback rig.
Of course.
For any of you musicians who know what it is. I'm running tracks off of an iPod.
Oh, my
Stop
God.
it.
Oh, yeah, iPod. Yeah. I have a band.
Yeah.
I have a stripped down band, 2-piece band. But the musicians that can't be there, all those things are being run off of an iPod. Okay,
Brilliant.
guys? iPod.
You see?
This is how long ago it was.
Yeah.
iPod. And the bass player put the iPod on top of the monitor, and the bass hit.
No.
And it knocked the sound out in the middle of the show. And I'm just like, oh, this is how we're going to start this? Great. Okay, great. No. And somebody posted the footage. I'm sure I can find it.
Yeah.
And immediately I'm like, this is not happening. This is not happening. This is not happening.
Paris, would you say?
This is in Paris. My first time in Paris. Of dreams
just
of
with
going to
us
Paris.
away.
Yeah.
Paula.
Yeah.
No.
So he's now got to fix it back in the moment. So I remember just being mortified, but then at the moment always knowing that these are the moments when people really see, are you a professional? Are you a star? It's make or break. Are you going to run off the stage crying?
Exactly.
What's going to happen?
Exactly.
Nope, I'm not. So I'm just like, oh, we got technical issues. We're going to start this shit over again. And I ended up singing a cappella, and the arena went nuts.
Yes.
They went nuts. And it's just like, all right, like I've had so many teachable,
That's so
humbling
dope.
moments in my career.
That's
and
so
that's my
dope.
first tour. Let me tell you about the time that I got left at the side of the road.
Is this here, the Biz Art Paris?
No, this is
Okay,
no.
we'll find it later.
Yeah.
So go on, tell me, wait, you got left on the side, what?
Oh yeah, on the same tour.
Okay. Go
On
on.
the same tour. So let me paint the picture for you.
Go.
It's my first tour. There's no budget. I'm just thankful to be on the Kanye West tour, okay, right?
Oh my goodness.
My bus probably fell out of 1972. Old upholstery, smells like old burnt cigarettes and beer in the it's like there's nothing luxurious about this bus.
Right.
My bus is probably about 2 times smaller than all the other tour
course.
buses.
You're
looks
lucky you got a bus.
It looks like a special.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like a bus. It's like an RV, okay, at this point.
Right.
So I'm on tour and we're with these 2 very unprofessional, God bless them, I'm trying to use positive words. They're not the swiftest, not the sharpest tools in the toolbox.
Right.
Bus drivers. And we're sleeping, we wake up, they're like, we're gonna make a stop, we're in Germany. So we go, we're stopping off at a McDonald's. It's only myself, my road manager, and 2 background singers. Oh no, this is the Alicia Keys tour. This is the Alicia Keys tour.
Okay.
Okay. The tour was, but the bus was trash on the Kanye West tour. Anyways, So now we're on this bus. We get off the bus to go get breakfast, come out to go back on the bus, and the bus is gone. In the middle of Germany.
What?
Not even like like Berlin where people could kind of speak English. This is like the rural countryside of Germany where nobody's speaking English. And mind you, we're 4 people my road manager at the time was British, but then it's me. So it's 3 women of color on the side of the road looking, first of all, they're looking at us like, what the hell are you guys doing here in the first place? And we have no bus.
And the drivers didn't check
the bus,
everyone on board?
left us, start driving to the next city, not even realizing that we're on the bus. We left all our phones on the bus, so we can't call anybody. We had to there was like a police station like on site for where we were. We ended up having to ride in the back of a police wagon.
Wow.
To catch up with them. And they got fired, obviously, like right after that. That was their last tour stop with the bus drivers. Yeah. But yeah, left on the side of the road on my own tour.
You know what? Shouldn't happen to a pop star.
Shouldn't happen to a pop.
They don't know that.
Hashtag shouldn't happen to a pop star.
They don't know that.
Clearly I'm not a pop star because it's just like, this is the shit that shouldn't happen. Or maybe I am a pop star because it's not supposed to happen.
Exactly.
Honestly, I just have wild shit, like wild stories. Like it's like, and people would never believe it because they think everything is glamorous. But there is a vlog of that. There is a vlog of that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I think it might be on my YouTube channel.
Oh, so you told. Okay.
Oh yeah. I was documenting this shit because nobody would believe me.
No, that's the thing. Again,
see, we were vlogging before vlogging was a thing.
I really was.
Isn't that crazy?
I really was. Yeah.
Okay, so on this tour, on the stage, so the iPod thing happened.
Yes.
Sang a cappella, amazing. Okay, first of all, let me tell you, that happened to me on many times, all the time, in fact. And MTV, I was doing an MTV, it was called MTV Base at the time. There was a channel and they had a live thing. And a couple of different bands and they'd do their performance and they'd jump to me and I'd do mine. There was something happened. There was like a power cut on everything, all the music, but my mic was live and there's a live studio audience too. So they're all watching and I knew I had 2 options. I could either just go, well, it's a taping. I could just walk off and not care.
Right.
And the crowd would just be like, okay, awkward. Or I could just be like, well, my mic's working. And there's a crowd here.
Yeah.
I could win them over.
Yeah.
I know the TV ain't seen this shit. But this crowd right here is going to go home and say, yo, you know what happened to Jay Sean? All the music cut out. And then he just started like beatboxing and singing and talking, telling fucking jokes, whatever the fuck I was doing. Just grab them, keep them with you.
Those are the people that are going to show up for you every single time with a hit or without. Those are the people that are going to show up.
Yeah.
And that's like, those are the moments. Those are the moments that I think people remember you for. Those are the moments. It's the resiliency. It's the, okay, cool. Like, you know what to do. Like, it's just, I mean, there's just so many things. I mean, We watched Beyonce fall down a flight of stairs on her tour. This is like the quintessential perfect performing artist. And she fell downstairs, busted her knee open. First of all, finished the song, and then stopped
with a big note as well.
And then stopped and said, "Oh, that hurt so bad."
With a massive note. When she fell, she went, "Oh!"
Yeah, she was like, and then said, "That hurt so bad."
Yeah, that's good though.
Because it is what it is.
That's nice.
Yeah. Not this one.
No, this one.
She fell down.
She fell down before. Oh, there we go. Hey.
Turn it into a move, by
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying.
So give it up for Beyonce. My Lord.
That's amazing.
There's a reason why they call her the queen.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, case in point, there is an element of, forcing yourself to go on and perform in those shows and keep it moving. But something you were talking about before in terms of, wellness of artists being out on the road and stuff. Like, I mean, we've seen people like, to use a really horrible scenario like Mac Miller, like in terms of like, people are substituting, substances or alcohol or any combination of things to get themselves through this life. Because it sounds like, there's a lot of pressure put on you guys to perform and be a commodity in that way. I mean, in terms of how do you guys...
So because one thing I'm very wary of when I talk about these kind of things to people, one thing I don't want to come across is as a ungrateful, whining artist.
No, sure.
Because there will be people out there who just won't get it.
Oh my God, your life is so perfect. Look at what you did. Oh, I traveled the world. Oh, I have awards. Oh, I have money. Like, no.
Right.
I also still have bills and health issues.
And again,
and feelings.
And performing every other 2 or 3 days doesn't sound like a lot, but in terms of, they don't understand, in terms of it's the airports, it's the travel, it's the non-sleep, it's the tour bus, it's the, the constant time zones and just...
Be away from your family.
Yeah. That's the really hard thing for me, And I'll honestly say to people, I'll say it to the bookers, and I'm like, I'm not doing more than this.
Right.
After this, I start missing my kids too much and I'm not actually happy.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, that's why I was talking about happiness, because ultimately it doesn't matter what our jobs, we've got very cool jobs compared to others.
Blessed.
Okay, look, people are like, oh my God, really? That's your job, that's your profession? We're like, yeah, I guess it is, right? But ultimately, you have people who are superstars, actors, this, that, and the other, doctors, whatever they all have their moments of sadness. They have their moments where, like, fuck my life. And we're the ones who aren't really allowed to show it, right? Because why would you? Who wants to see that? Who wants to see a moaning pop star who, on a thing? It's like,
make us smile.
All right.
Because we're supposed to be the constant source of the inspiration, the dream.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, if you had to think of what's your happiest place, Melanie? What is it? Because I know mine. What's your happy place? Like, where are you just like, fuck everything else? This is amazing.
Oh, I mean, it's literally when I'm with my core family. It's when I'm with my son. It's when I'm with my fiance. It's when we are wherever we are. I mean, to be honest, if I can have them with me while I have songs to sing, it's amazing. It's everything encompassed together. It's all of my favorite things. It's being able to sing. It's being able to connect. It's being able to be with the community of people that have been with me on this professional journey and have the people who hold me up and make me feel whole backstage. That's the best. And then going back and staying in bed with them and eating food. Like, isn't that's the best. Like,
it is.
The fact that my son asks when we're going to a hotel to order food because of his experience of coming on the road with me.
Awesome. Yes. Can we talk about these, please?
Can we just do that on a random Saturday? Let's just go get a hotel and order breakfast in bed, because
it comes to our room. That's amazing.
So Cam knows mom's a singer now.
He knows.
Okay, tell me about the first time he kind of or maybe there wasn't a first time. When did he start to understand what you do? Cam was born in March, and my first show that he was able to come to was in July. And I have the photo of him captured on stage. We're in the little headphones. You wear the little headphones.
Jared holding him, and me on stage with the audience in front. And it was here in LA, and it's one of my it's my most prized possessions.
Isn't
because
that beautiful?
From a small age, he was able to see that. And so it was crazy, because I remember also too, we were on a plane once and somebody was watching Bruno Mars next to us on their phone. And he was like, "Mommy, is that you?"
Oh,
right? Like, he couldn't tell the difference.
gosh.
And he was like, "Is that you, Mommy?" And I was like, "No, but I love the fact that you recognize Mommy's a performer. This is what Mommy does." And so too, for that, it's like also the side part of that is not allowing my own guilt to be put on him when I have to go away and do what I have to do for myself, that he understands that this is just a part of mommy. Like,
That's right.
It's not that like, it's this terrible thing where she's got to go and I'm so sorry.
Right.
I'm not sorry.
Right.
This is who I am and this is what I do.
Right.
You're a part of that. This is our life. It may not be like Billy or Sarah's family, but this is our life. And so I never try to project the guilt onto my child that mommy has to go. It's like, I gotta go. I'll be right back. You know, mommy's gotta go sing. I'll be right back.
It's not a threat.
It's not a threat.
This
is one does not take away from the other. You know, like this is a part of our lives. And so that's important for me in order for him to understand that this is just our life. You know, it's not better, different, better or worse. It's just different. And so that's it. But obviously, happiest is when all of those things can collide. All of those things can be together. He can be with me everywhere.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And like, you know, the reason I ask that is because you know, for me, it's the same thing. It really is. It's 100% the same thing. And when I'm with Ava, it's the funniest thing now because she's sick. So obviously she's
amazing.
She's a super cool,
super cool superstar girl.
And you know, she understands what I do 100%. Excuse me. What I really have found funny and also interesting is that she doesn't want her dad to be different. Okay, so when we go to gymnastics and I pick her up and all of her teachers all know who I am because you know they're like 18, 20 years old, and what are they doing? They're playing daddy's songs in the gymnasium. And like I saw her once, and I'm always the only dad, like as well, because the other dads have like conventional jobs. So I'm the only guy who's there at 3:30 with all the mums. And I'm looking at her through the little window, and they're playing one of my songs. And she's just finished doing like a roly-poly, and she gets up and she literally rolls her eyes like, for fuck's sake. Get this guy off of it, right?
I can't escape it.
One of my favorite videos ever of her, this one here, Todd, you put up.
Oh, the singing?
Yeah. But again, you're both parents, you both have children. This is my favorite clip ever.
Yo, so I just said to Ava, I was like, yo, do you not think Daddy has a good voice? And she goes, trying to understand what is it about my face? Is it my face when I sing? You don't like my face when I sing. Why?
Wait.
Like what?
Out of the mouth of babes.
Yeah. So you can be the coolest parent in the world, but it's like, no, you're just an idiot.
Just like, you look like an idiot.
You're goofy dad.
His faces. You really got to work on your facial expressions.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
But there's nothing like your kids who just check
Reality
you.
Just check you real quick. Forget all the trolls online. Your kids are going to humble you real quick. Yeah.
It's the best.
The best.
You know, but again, they just want a normal dad. And I think juggling that, back in the day, a lot of people used to hide the fact that they have kids. They don't want to bring their kids.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Right? And now what do my fans say when they see me out? Oh, hi, where's Ava?
Yeah. Oh, I get recognized on the street because of Cameron.
Right.
Wow.
Like, they see him and they're like,
They recognize him first.
Oh, which means the parents must be here.
Right.
Like, it's wild.
Right.
And it's also a little terrifying too, because I'm also like,
exactly. Like, wait, why'd you know my kid?
Know my kid a little too, like, ooh, let's hold up. Because people, again, back to this accessibility, people feel like they know you.
Right, of course.
So they,
Of course.
I really feel like, and I feel very blessed to be able to say this, but like my genuine supporter, like they're pretty respectful.
Right.
They're not trying to ask too much, not trying to be too entitled. They're pretty good about not like bombarding or crossing that line. You know, there are a few people who try, but you know, for the most part, I can't complain. But for that reason, you really do have to set boundaries for yourself. Like, oh, this is my favorite. You always hear these stories. Well, I saw so-and-so out and they wouldn't take a picture with me. And it's like, no, because I was leaving church with my family.
Right.
Or like,
and I had my boob out because I was breastfeeding.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and they're terrible. So my favorite thing is whenever like I read anything that says, Melanie Fiona's such a bitch. I saw her out and I'm just like, yo, I am the opposite of a bitch. I know this because like, and I've had people be like, can I take a picture with you? And I'll be like, sure, whatever. And they take a picture and be like, oh, but wait, I don't like the way I look. Can we do it again?
Of course.
Oh, wait, can I get on the left side? The left side is my good side. 2 seconds. The left side is my good side. Who are you who's asking for the picture? Like, I just think the level of entitlement, like, there are things that you just like, what? Like the texting, like, I don't know if I need anybody to text me. I don't even like to respond to texts of people that I know, much less like and that's not because I don't appreciate them. That's just because like, why does that have to be a part of the job now? Right?
That's what I was going to say in terms of the accessibility seems to be part and parcel, whereas before, again, when I was with you, when we started off, the accessibility was a physical thing that we didn't want.
Well, I'll tell you why.
You know?
I'll tell you why. Because the Kardashians let cameras into their house 24 hours a day.
100%.
So if Kim Kardashian can let you see the ins and outs of every second of her life, then who are you to not let me have access to everything?
I was going to say something. I'm going to keep my negative comments to myself.
But that's the world we live in. Right. That there are other, if you're not doing it, somebody else is. And somebody else is allowing you into their life all the time.
Yes.
So you are no longer as interesting as that person. I like your songs, cool. But guess what? You don't let me see what your kid likes to eat for breakfast and how you prepare your oatmeal. And I'm like, I didn't know you cared about that.
I didn't know you cared.
But if you really want people living vicariously through you.
Right.
They're not living their own life.
No, well, this is it. This is why reality TV is so big. And this is why, you know, stories and with Snapchat, like all these things, like people just want, like, they just want to watch. Like,
they want a snapshot.
They want a snapshot. And it's crazy because even now, like, to get even deeper is that like my girlfriend she is an educator. She also has a YouTube platform, but she's like a speaker and a teacher. And she has her niece and nephew. And she asked me, she was like, does Cam like movies? And I was like, yeah, he loves movies. She's like, yeah, my niece and nephew who are, I want to say like 8 and 10 maybe, they're into short content. Like they only watch 6-minute, like at the max.
Oh, like Quibi's coming out.
Like they have no desire to sit and watch a movie. They're just like, this is too long.
Well, it's attention span.
It's attention span. And so it's like boom, boom. Like even if you think about it, like the stories, it's just like you watch someone's story and it goes right to the next story. And then next thing you know, you've been watching people's lives for 20 minutes online. And you're like, shit.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who's still listening to us.
Yeah, exactly. As we trash,
really appreciate
your attention culture.
Really appreciating you guys right now.
Shout out the person that's still in 50 minutes in.
Thank you.
But no, 100%,
it's
right?
True,
it is
crazy.
true. It's completely different, right? And I think you're 100% right. But there is one thing that I do like about, and that's why we were talking about how personality doesn't necessarily come through your songs. You're not writing goofy songs,
right?
You're writing songs where you're just singing your heart out, but it's not showing your personality,
right?
But this is showing your personality. Yeah. Insta story is showing your personality.
That is the beautiful part about it,
right? And I do love that. And then here's another funny thing, right? My Insta story is actually very different to my grid. Why? I've tried to think about this and I'm like, because half the time I'm being an idiot. And then I was like, well, what's wrong? What's stopping me from being an idiot on my main page?
Because you want that slick, perfect image.
Because somewhere in the back of our head, we've been taught, no, that you got to put a nice picture there where you look really good. And
it's the resume.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the resume.
Right? And I'm kind of like, I'm kind of confused. That's why, honestly, I don't post much. Because I'm just like, I don't know what to fucking post then. I'll story my whole life. And things that I find. But what do you want to see? What's going to remain there forever?
Yeah,
but meanwhile, it doesn't even remain there forever. Like, you ever go to people's posts and they have like 1 million followers and have 9 posts?
Oh, that too.
Because this is also like the age of, oh, wait,
delete
I didn't like that. Like
we can take it back.
What is it? Felt cute, might delete later.
Yeah.
It's like, why do we have to do what?
Felt cute, might not going to delete it.
Not
you
deleting.
Just want all the likes right now.
Yes.
But it is weird in terms
funny,
of.
I love it.
We talked about this previously in another episode where we said that, you know, you're going to get to a situation where we will be the generation whereby, again, death, as we pass on.
He talks about death in
all
every
the time.
It's
But
part of
no,
life.
you know, I was talking about, looking at when I went to my parents' house, there's in terms of very few pictures of me from like age 12 to 18, because I just hate having my picture taken. But now there's these online repositories, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, where you're putting your life online, where for future generations, like, I mean, you know, Cameron at one point when he's married was like, yeah, look at this is my mum, like his kids, like, hey.
It's kind of cool though.
I actually love this part.
Yeah.
Because also too, like, even like back to death, like I went to funeral recently, and there was so much footage.
Yeah.
Right? Of like the person, because they were younger. And it was like, wow, like this is the beautiful thing about having this constant, documentation of life. It's like, okay, right now it seems a little narcissistic while we're here.
Right.
But in a few years, when we're old and gray, we're gonna look back at this and be like, oh my God, remember the
100%.
time we were sitting around talking trash? Oh my God, what a great memory, Like, look how young and beautiful we were.
Exactly.
And it's really... It's really all in the perspective of how you look at it. Like,
Do you have, I bet you, so 10 years ago is when all the stuff for you really started, right? About 10 years ago, 2009, 2000, was it 2009?
Yeah, my first album came out 2009.
Right. I bet you hardly have any pictures and videos of the Kanye stuff, of the Alicia Keys tour. Do you have much? I don't. I didn't have any.
I do have video.
Do you?
Yeah. And the thing is that I actually really don't. I never thought about it from a social media standpoint. Like, I just liked
documenting.
I was just documenting.
Okay.
I just always walked around with a camera.
Right. Now, I have videos of like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is...
Oh, like the shows? No.
Yeah.
I didn't have a videographer recording my shows.
That's what I'm saying.
I had
Now
me trying
you're-
to get dressed in the back. Like,
But now the
being
audience
hilarious.
has filmed probably.
Everything.
You could probably make literally a movie from every show you've ever done, because at different moments,
Oh, look.
there you go. Someone's
this.
capturing you from a different angle. There we go.
Oh, this is me, I think, editing my own show on my computer.
Wow.
First of all, look at the... Oh, this is me talking shit about the West.
good.
Look at this on Wall Street.
You look the same, man. What are you chatting about? You haven't aged one bit either.
No, I know.
That's good, I
But
guess.
isn't it amazing in terms of those, there's little moments, I mean, as long as these sites live, I mean, there's going to be this archive of, especially you guys, when you're in the public eye, this stuff is going to live on.
Yeah.
Ad infinitum.
Can I get into something about your art? Because it's something, even though I didn't, it's meant to be more about you, and it's hard to ignore just how good your music is. And I think we have to talk about that and how you feel being almost too good in a generation where people don't want to hear people sing anymore.
Yes.
Ooh, this is the question.
You know what I'm saying? Hey
Yeah.
girl, you're singing too much.
Man, let me tell you. This is an interesting thing, because when I first came into the music industry, that comment was made. Yeah, When It Kills Me, the song
Really?
that
Even 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
Wow.
When I first came into the music industry and I was shopping songs like It Kills Me, shameless plug, went on to become a #1 record for 9 weeks and earn a Grammy nomination.
Oh, yes.
Pause.
Well, we're going to go on to the Grammys later.
For best vocal performance, let's be clear,
That's
right?
crazy.
When I remember going in and shopping that to try to get a deal with that record, there was one label that was like, this is a great record, but you sing too well.
What?
Yes.
Isn't that
And now,
brilliant?
mind you, like, this is crazy, right? Because we're in the time, and it's no shade of this, we're in the time of like pop R&B artists. So like Ashanti was like one of the
that's right.
biggest
Yeah.
artists at the time. Like,
Right.
so it was this, make it digestible, make it jingly, make it more poppy. And I came in singing, and it kills me. Like
Right.
full vibrato, full
Right.
R&B love ballad.
Killing it.
When everyone was like singing pop records. And so I remember getting this comment and being like, what?
And
then
what do you do with that? What do you do with that comment?
I just was like, fuck this. Like, this
Yeah.
is not going to be my label.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I remember going into SRC at Universal with Steve Rifkin. Shout out to Steve Rifkin. And Steve Rifkin played that song 13 times in a row in the meeting, being like, I got to hear it again. Play it again. Play it again. God, you can sing. That's where I knew I needed to be.
Yeah.
And so again, now in this time, and it's very interesting. It's like, I now, especially in the space that I've been in, it's been a while since I've put out a project for many reasons, professional, political changes in life, just finding the right place. I'm at a place right now where I want to make what I want to make, no
Good
matter
for you.
what that is.
Absolutely.
If I want to sing at the top of my lungs, that's what I'm going to do. Do I
Hell
also
yeah.
know I already have a catalog of music that does that? Absolutely.
Right.
Do I want to rap on this album? Absolutely.
Right.
Do I want to do whatever the hell I want to do now?
And let's not forget
Yes.
that reggae, hello.
Oh, yeah, I
we
mean,
even
it's-
had an alter ego.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, can we talk about that?
Oh my God! So before I started doing R&B mainstream, like as an R&B artist, I was making music with Black Chinese and Super Dupes under the name Siren, and like
Super
that
Dupes
was
are amazing, by the way.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
Super
Dupes.
Dupes. Yeah.
Shout out to Dupes. One of my first producers. I used to sleep at his house. We were making music in a room smaller than this. It was amazing.
Siren
And-
Hall, right?
What's that?
Your name, Siren. What was Siren?
Siren, yeah, Siren, and it was crazy, and again, like I just think now in this space, what I love again about music and artistry is that you can do and be whatever you want, and I feel like I want to be all the things that I am. And I don't want anybody to put me in a box, and I don't want anybody to say you sing too well. Like this is a thing that I know that I can do. This is my strength. This is my party favor. I can pull it out at any time and be like, oh, I can do this when others can't do that. You know? And so I never want to have to shy away from that. And it's a very interesting thing to see that even some of the most amazing singers that we know of, they're just like, have you heard that person can really sing their ass off? But even the demand of what is currency right now, they're like, dumb it down just a little
check
bit.
this. I know you get
Sing
this.
a little quieter.
Yeah.
Don't do too many runs.
Don't pronounce all the words.
Don't pronounce all the words.
What? Oh yeah. So listen, I went to a session 2 days ago with these producers, 11. Really dope. And I guess we were writing, and as I was writing, I was humming out some stuff. And so the guy goes, oh, okay, we got one of those guys that can actually sing. He's like, he literally said this.
Oh my God.
As compared to...
Right?
As compared to probably what they were
So when it came to me cutting, he knew I knew my voice and how to use it as an instrument. And therefore, if he told me some stuff and, hey, like, okay, so a bit more of this, he knew I would understand that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we know our voice as an instrument,
Yeah.
right? But not throwing shade on anyone, but like ultimately nowadays it's kind of like it's almost like that's not that important. Right? I mean, like you know,
the personality, the commodity,
but also
the
like 'cause
element.
you have tune and anybody can sing with auto
Yeah,
tune,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But hold on, there was another thing I wanted to say. So because you mentioned Siren, you were in a group with Drake, which is insane. I
Yes.
knew you knew Drake.
Was it
But I didn't know.
The Renaissance. Yeah.
I actually didn't know you were in a group.
Yeah, and it was.
What was that?
So it was more just like a collective. Like we are all from Toronto, obviously. Shout out Dalton. Shout out Aeon. Shout out Drake.
Right.
Aubrey. You know, we started. Yeah, we were in a little group. We started a collective in Toronto.
I'm glad he grew a beard. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Leave baby Drake alone.
He looks like a completely different person. It's amazing.
Baby
He
Drake.
does. He's got such a
Baby
young
Aubrey.
But
face.
go on, carry on.
But we used to sing at this supper club in Toronto and cover songs and like debut some of our own like personal material.
Wow.
And I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing because I always believe in like life and the synergy of life and synchronicity and all of those things, no coincidences. And I just love that like more than 10 years ago, our talents and our energies and our trajectories of what we would become already found each other in our city. And it was really cool. It was really cool
Toronto,
to see
by
his,
the way.
it's one of the best
It's
cities
so
in the world.
vibey, man.
It really is.
Yeah.
I am
And
Canadian. I am Canadian too, by the way, just so we point that out.
No, you're not.
I am, yeah.
Oh, God, well, clearly not.
Yeah, my mother's Canadian.
Yeah,
Born in
can't you hear
Toronto.
it in his accent?
Yeah, of course, exactly.
What?
So, yeah, it's all good.
Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, this podcast could go on for another 45 minutes
I
if I
know,
really
I know,
get
you
deep
have to,
into
yeah,
it.
exactly.
But I mean,
Shit, we've
Yeah,
been
to come back
together for a
again.
minute.
no, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm fine.
I know you
I'm
have
good.
to
I'm
go.
good. I'm good.
You
I'm
just
fine.
you can leave us whenever you want.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Just see you later. No, but I mean, I think that you and I have a similar thing, which I think is a whole separate topic on itself. But like prior to the Drake success era of Toronto, we were made to believe that we had to leave to become and garner success.
Yeah.
Right.
And to be honest, my least supportive market is Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, is the Canadian music industry. That's the
Really?
reality of my career. Like I've never toured Canada. My own
Wow,
country.
that's crazy.
Yes, and it's
Because I would say your most supportive fan bases are probably UK or India, like in
Yeah.
terms of, you know.
no, yeah, Toronto. I mean, Toronto. I have love in Toronto, but
Yeah.
not enough
As
that I work there all the time.
Yeah, Right. yeah.
But on the whole of Canada, I've never toured Canada, and it's a very interesting thing because of just the way the way the urban market in music was set up before Drake made rap and urban music pop.
Yeah.
He made it popular. This is what it is. You know what I mean? It changed everything. And I think that it forced the Canadian music industry to start to take a look and be like, wait, all this talent is coming from here and we're not paying attention and we're not showing love. And like now that's why all the artists that are coming out of Toronto, it's all Toronto teams, it's all Canadian teams, all their producers, their managers, their
now
whole
it's hot now,
squad
right.
is home team.
Yeah, as I understand, in terms of Drake, still has the same people around
100%.
him.
These
Yeah,
are the
yeah.
guys that have been with him from day one. These are the
Yeah,
guys that we
right.
were out partying with, just being rolling as their brethren and their homeboys, and just that's what it was. So, you know, he really did. He changed it, and he forced Canada and on a whole to look at it. But you know, I came before that, and the R&B urban singing artists, like shout out to Deborah Cox, Tamia, shout out to Glenn Lewis, shout out to Cardinal
please, hello, you're talking to my soul right now.
Shout out to all these people that paved the way.
Yeah, and there's
you know?
people right there going Googling who's Glenn Lewis.
Who's Deborah Cox?
You know what I'm saying? And like,
Glenn Lewis was from Toronto, wasn't he?
What's
Wasn't
that?
he? Glenn Lewis was from Canada. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so there is a arsenal and a roster of people that chipped, and then the iceberg broke with Drake. And it's beautiful because now you've got this amazing talents. Like you've got Party Next Door, and you've got Abel, and you've got Jesse Reyes, and you've got all these artists that are coming up, and it's just like, oh, right. And when you say their names, it's synonymous with Canadian talent. And I love that. I love that. And I'm so happy that we're there.
And can we just big up you for what you've done? I think, honestly, you know, the amount of, you got two Grammys.
2 Grammys.
Okay. You've got a Soul Train Award.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we have a Soul Train Award?
Hello. This is how you put in Canada on the map, Toronto on the map 10 years ago. So props to you for that. Honestly, and I know you got to leave us soon. Like I said,
and I also got a Juno. Let's put that out there.
Fucking Juno.
She's
like, while you're at it,
Canadian,
Brit
Canadian,
Awards, Grammy Awards, yeah.
But I know, like I said, I know you got a heart out. But I did want to ask you one more question. When you were saying all those names just now, my heart just went, because it took me straight to a place where I was growing up, who I was listening to, who I was dating. I remember all of it. Because those used to be the songs that were on our mixtapes.
Of course.
Right? And they were, with them are ingrained memories forever.
Yes.
You could play me a Brandy song in 20 years' time and I will remember where I was, who I was with at that exact moment in time. Do you think the music of now is going to be that timeless?
I was having this conversation recently about like, who are our legends?
Right.
Like, thank God we have Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, you know, Anita Baker. Like, we have legends that are real legends. God bless the ones who have already transitioned and gone. You know, the Michael Jacksons, the Whitney Houstons, the Arethas. You know, I often wonder about that. Because music is so consumed at such a high rate, is there the emotional attachment?
Right.
Is there that nostalgic thing that comes along, or does it become disposable? Does it just become supply and demand? Oh, it's just like, oh, that person was there. Oh, there'll be another person that comes along and sounds like that. You know, I don't know. I really don't know. I think that's why it's so important to create something that has a memory when you're making it, at least for me. That's my goal moving forward, is to create something that allows people to feel that to have that emotional connection. Whether it's because they saw me live, whether it's because it was attached to their favorite movie, whether it was because I created a piece of content that allowed them to visually have something to hold on to that they resonated with. That's kind of my ultimate goal at this point. It's not about consumption. I've always believed quality over quantity, 100%.
Same.
And I just feel like that's also not everybody's goal. Like some people are just like, yo, I ain't never had shit. I'm getting in, getting out. That's all I want. If I can get one in this lifetime, let me get it and get in and get out.
I don't think there's a better way to end this
than
exactly what you just said. Because we've gone full circle. You've grown in the game from a girl who's come 10 years ago doing all of this stuff, worked with the biggest names in the industry, and you're happiest when you're with Jared. We didn't even get to talk about Jared.
Love you, Jared.
Jared, everybody knows Jared is my boy, my brother from day one.
A handsome devil.
And you know what? You got it all. You got the family. You got
and
the
music. Eyebrow. You've got the eyebrow.
But you have to deal with
Our son has the eyebrows.
God bless him.
Yeah.
Oh,
but right there,
the proposal.
Look, that's everything.
That,
This is a whole podcast on
it. Is right.
Oh my gosh.
But no, you have to leave us in terms of, you still have your podcast, Living Awake, and what else you got coming up?
Yes, Living Awake. I'm actually currently writing a book, which is great. Yeah, it's really, really great. It's about the intersection of basically how children make us better human beings.
Wow.
And that's what I've learned from motherhood, and that's what I've learned overall. And I feel like it's not just for women or moms, it's for everyone. And yeah, I've got working on new music, just being all the things that I know I've been put on this earth to do in my greatest purpose, not limiting myself for anything that this voice is capable of doing. Podcast, singing, speaking, motivating. Yeah, if you're not living on your purpose, what are you doing?
I love that.
So are you living at all?
I love that.
So yeah, that's where I'm at, and right now I'm late to go pick up my son. That's
all right.
There you go.
And then you're gonna have us on your podcast.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely, yes. The Living Awake.
Mel, thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Honestly,
this is awesome.
So nice kicking it with you.
Thank you.
Wicked. All right, peeps. Peace.